people and they don't know, so we're going to do the right thing in the morning. In the morning, running African, more history on top of history. Yeah, so like, share, and subscribe. Share it to your whole family, everybody. And that's
all at all. For my Auntie Roach said the whole thing did happen when the English forefathers them was a try for and bound the African ancestors them for chat so English. But the African ancestors them pop them. Yes, sir. Them pop them. For them disguise of the English and the African in such a way that them still couldn't understand them. Listen, man. And up to today, I do plenty with Jamaica what them got English in it. Hey, no English man, they can't understand what we are saying. We don't want them understand. Yes, that's true. Yes, Mrs. For you know what happened to we? We fling with most of the bank around them. And we just keep on wanting. Like for instance, you know, when some English people might just say, I got stuck by a prickle. Jamaica say, Maka joke me. Yes, man. And when them English, go away, here we go. Yes, man, and we have a way, see, to make the word we say sound like where the same thing we are talking about look like. For when we say your bugu yaka, you know right away say your bugu yaka. But if we say your bunu no, hey, that'd be nice, yes. Then when we say something ruku, you know, it's shaky. Yeah, man. Then you know what you English people have a way, them say, bad, worse. We don't say so. We don't top this up. We say bad, worse, yes, man. And when the same thing was than was, we say was Then now another thing. You know when the English them I say about if them talk to one smiley, them say you. And them talk to 1,000 smiley, them say you. When we talk to one smiley, we say you. When we talk to more than one smiley, we say oh no. Yes, man. No, man, we don't have to share, man, nothing at all. No, son. Then now, you see like how it look like fenke, for instance. If we say something fenke and pia. You know, say weak, you know. But when we say something talawa, you know, say strong. Yes, child, we not have to shame at all. Like one fool Jamaica girl when it come to England, you know, and them ask her to sing one Jamaica folk song. Say mama, then catch papa. Hear the fool girl. Mother, the apprehended father. Locks. Then, my dear child, them go ask her to sing another one. And this one is Mati Walla left, you know. Me now, where Mati Walla left. Hear the fool girl. I don't want what Matty eats and leaves.
Are rodents and mosquitoes crashing your space? Kick them out.
Louise Bennett. The big event today is going to be happening in St. Andrew. And so you are being asked to attend. Yes, yeah, you're being asked to go. September 7th, of course, Miss Lou's birthday, 106th birthday. So join members of the Louise Bennett Coverley Festival Committee. And they're going to be in Miss Lou Square, and that is in Gordon Town, St. Andrew, today, Sunday, September 7th, at 2 p.m. So carry your flowers, recite a poem, sing happy birthday to Miss Lou, and let's celebrate our cultural queen and hero. So that's happening today in Gordon Town, St. Andrew, Miss Lou Square. Remember, we did go up there, thing there. go open Miss Lou Square, and we broadcast live from there from about, well, it was about 5 o'clock or maybe before that in the evening, right up until nearly midnight or thereabouts. What a day into night that was. It was beautiful, brilliant. Quite something when they unveiled the statue there of Miss Lou. That's a few years ago. So go to Gordon Town and go to Miss Lou Square and check that out today. Be a part of that. And them say you have to come and recite a poem. So make sure you go ready for recite a poem and get ready for be part of the singing of a happy birthday to Miss Lou, and bring flowers too. Me don't know why I'm saying if bring flowers, but bring flowers. So them say bring some flowers. Well, maybe as you know, probably to put out the statue. I don't know, but anyway, them say bring some flowers, recite a poem, sing happy birthday to Miss Lou, and celebrate our cultural queen and hero today, September 7, in Gordon Town, St. Andrew. Miss Lou Square. Make sure you go. Time on Area FM is now 6:46. And got a guest in the studio. My very special guest in the studio is Priest Wesley Kelly, High Priest of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, overseer of the Ethio-African Theological Union policy. And he's joining me in the studio to talk a little bit about that this morning. Greetings, my brother, Priest Kelly. How you doing? I see your microphone is all up in the air there. Yeah, just pull it to you. Thank you so much for coming in, Priest Kelly, this early in the morning. Good to have you, my brother.
Thank you very much for sharing this moment and to share this moment with the radio land of Area FM, the number one station that is provided for our benefit as the Rastafarian family through this name, Irie. I give thanks to share this moment with the eye.
All right, Priest Kelly, we say you're the High Priest of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. Everybody know you. I mean, you're well known in Jamaica. You're well known in the Rastafari community. But some of these people might not know. The High Priest of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. Let's talk about that first. And then overseer of the Ethio-African Theological Union policy. So let's start with the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. Tell us about that. And is that different from the one that we know in St. Thomas, which is a Judah Coptic Church?
Well, for the beginning, I'm Priest Wesley Kelly. I'm the royal priest of the Eli Selassie Jah Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. The address is 11 Welcome Avenue, Kingston 11. As we would term it, it's the Rastaman Liquor Tabernacle in the Wildwood by the rivers of Babylon, Sandy Gully. And this church is originated from our elders from the Bakawal era to Davis Lane after the demolition of the Bakawal era from that time to Davis Lane. And from Davis Lane, it traveled to 11 Welcome Avenue. And this address was given by a woman that Bongo Blackheart have as his common law wife. She gave it as a widow's mite because she was a widow at that time.
You're talking the land itself, where the church is now.
Yes, the land that she's given. And that woman donated that spot of land to the Rastafari community. And that was the place that in those early 66, 67, after his majesty visit here, it was the only place in the island that the Rastaman could gather and not being disturbed by the security forces.
You're serious?
Yeah, in 11 Welcome Avenue. And that was where the late Prime Minister, Mr. Michael Manley, visit and make certain proposal, even by visiting and carrying a pound weight of ganja, and a proposal to give a portion of land in the western side of the island to build the first Rastafari community. And that land was designated as the prospect land between Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth.
All right. So basically you're saying this address where the church is now given as a widow's mite at 11 Welcome Avenue in Kingston, that as the Assembly of the Elders, that the former Prime Minister himself, Michael Manley, visited.
Yes.
Which year was that? Was it in the 80s?
In the
70s?
60s? Yeah, in the 70s, while it's in his ruling time up that time.
And you're saying, I hear you saying that when he got there, he in his conversation with the elders and the brethren, he made a promise.
Yes.
Which was what?
To grant them a portion of land within the borders between Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth to build the first Rastafari community, that they could take the Rastas them off the street.
Did he grant that land?
Well, how it work out is like the ancients of the Nyabingi house denied that request and said it is a political bribe. Michael Mann is trying to bribe the Rastas them.
So they rejected it.
So they rejected that portion of land that is in prospect between Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. That would be the first community that was supposed to build within the 3 county of the island, Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey, that is designated as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Were you at that meeting when Michael Mann...
Well, I was a young man at that time within that ages. And you know, as a young man in those ages, you couldn't speak because the elders them say you just a come. So you have to just sit down and listen.
But you heard what he said?
I was there.
Okay.
I and Kenneth Garden was the 2 youngest man. He were from Westmoreland and I were from Portland. So they call us East and West. I and Mr. Garden. So it was at that time, he were accompanied by Philip Jackson and the Minister of I'm coming to you, my dear.
Well, when you remember,
it's a long time,
go ahead, and when you remember, you
it's
come back
Mr. Francis Stoller was the Speaker of the House, Arnold Bertram, and many more that come with them at that time.
He was at education or something like that at the time?
With that time, see? And those were requested, and it was there that he were given the idea how to run Jamaica. He didn't go to Britain, he didn't go to America, he didn't go to Israel to ask. He came to the Rastafari community and asked the elders how he gonna get to govern this country. And he were told by the elders named Bongolide, Lyde Maver, we call him Zerubbabel, as an elder before. He is the elder amongst us, different from Bongo Blackheart. He was the ancient elder amongst us. And Bongolide give him the knowledge of how crash program, land lease, and Jamal, and many more how to run the country.
So all of that was discussed in that meeting?
In that meeting at 11 Welcome Avenue.
All right. Okay, so I want to come back to some of that, but to say quickly that so the at that time was the church. This was a church, right? And it was known at that time as a Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, or did it become that later on?
It was that name from significant by the elders named Bongolide, who said he got a vision to build a place that is called by His Majesty name. And that's how that church erected there at 11 Welcome Avenue.
There's another Judah Coptic church in Jamaica. Is it related to that, or they're two separate Judah Coptics?
Well, I only know of the El Selassie Rastafari Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church was the original from 67. I don't know of
you don't know of another one. Okay. All right. And you're also, Priest Kelly, overseer of the Ethio-African Theological Union policy.
The ETOP.
Right.
Yes.
ETOP,
yes.
For short. What is that?
That is a document that the brethren have originated to fulfill the cry of Mr. Siago. If there's anyone suitable to fulfill the gap of the one-party government in the 1980s. So these brethren draw up this document as a eat-up policy for the Rastafari governance of self-government.
So you're saying it's a response to something that Mr. Siaga said?
Yes.
And what exactly did he say?
Because at that time, the politics never contested by the People's National Party. So it was a one government in the parliament at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he requested if anyone is capable enough to stand up and represent the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the beloved brethren them draft up this document as a eat-up policy to show that there is a governance here to represent the people through the theocratic government that were given to us by His Majesty 1966 and the Ethiopian Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why the eat-up policy were established from the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic.
Did you have any discussion with Mr. Siaga himself on it? And if any, what did he say?
No, at the time we never have no discussion of it.
Right, but just among Rastafari.
Yeah, but at the time, the document that we agitate on from those time was to get observer status in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
Through the document that was sent from Britain by Her Majesty the Queen to the Senate and the House of Representatives, that this church must have the right to preach the gospel as though it were taught by them.
All right. So this is it now. This is something that we really have to come to, and I want to discuss, take a little time to discuss, which is a bill, an act for the incorporation of the Haile Selassie Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto, and the vesting of certain property in the body so incorporated.
Yes.
Just before we go to the break, though, how is the Royal Ethiopia Judah Coptic Church different from other Rastafari mansions and houses, or is it different?
Well, as the Bible is stated, although it's a King James version, within I right now I have the King James original Bible that the Queen Victoria have given.
At some point, you're going to have to throw that away, you know.
Okay.
Because King James did a number on our people through that. So we can go to other biblical texts that existed before King James.
The biblical text is, "Thou art my sons and daughters, this day have I known thee. Ask and I shall give you the Eden for thy inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession." Now His Majesty came here 66, and he gave us a constitution, and he gave us a governance that we must govern ourselves as a people, that he have claims as an empire and an emperor from the colonial empire of a British colonial Western Atlantic slave trading. Now our people from 1966 till now, we haven't shown any charisma of development of what His Majesty came here and blessed us with his presence, and show that we must organize and centralize and come together as one, because Ethiopia and Jamaica is one. Up till now, we cannot show no development quality. We cannot show no progress in our years that we have been on this island here.
Let me take a break and come back to that.
Blessed Lord.
We're speaking with Priest Wesley Kelly, High Priest of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church in Jamaica, overseer of the Ethio-African Theological Union Policy, ETUP for short. And we're going to be leading up to a bill that he has referenced before, an act for the incorporation of the Royal Ethiopia Judah Coptic Church. And one of the things you said that I want to pick up on, you talk about the Rastafari. I think you're talking about, Priest Kelly, when you say that Rastafari, the community has nothing to show, that the development is there's no development, that there's no progress, and that Rastafari should organize and centralize. Is it fair to say there's no development or progress? Because the fight has been real, the struggle has been real, and there's so much that Rastafari has achieved over time. That is it really fair to say that there is no development and no progress?
Well, for beginning and starting, we have 3 counties in this island. And up till now, we cannot show no structural community in this island to represent the Rastafari family. That is why they said Ethiopia and Jamaica is one. There is no structural. We only hear voices and words, Rasta community all around. But there is no structural community there. You cannot prove it. A government of Rastafari that rule this community, just like how you have gated communities building up all over the island. We as Rastafari family from Bakawal days to Pinnacle, Pinnacle was the strivingness community. Bakawal was just a garbage dump. Pinnacle was where it was structured as a relevant community. And from that being destroyed, the Rastaman doesn't have a community to show the vibrancy and the development that it needs to show that, get that respect from our people in this island.
And so you're saying over all the attempts over the years, because I've been witness, we talk about bearing witness, I've witnessed numerous attempts by Rastafari to organize and centralize. Rasta Silver comes to mind immediately. In recent times, we are seeing the RMO. But in between that, there have been many, many, many attempts for Rastafari to organize and centralize. What do you think is a reason for, or reasons for, all of these attempts to have been
waylaid or pushed aside?
Yes.
It is because the Rastaman them don't realize the blessing that were given from 1966 by His Majesty and the victory that we have gained by His presence coming here. We were given that glorious blessing. And 1963, when the Prime Minister said, bring in all Rasta dead or alive. We were given a blessing by 1966 after 63 aggression around the island. It's not just in Montego Bay, but it's on an all-island proclamation. And the fullness is, I have seen a lot of mansions springing up. But the representative of the house, as it said in my father's house, there are many mansions. And that is what is causing the division. We have too much mansion, that's why they have it to term said, we are too much splintered groups. We do not respect the house that is called by His Majesty name.
And which house is that?
And that is the Haile Selassie Jah Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church.
And yet there's another that I know that's called the Haile Selassie School of Vision, for example.
School, listen, my sister.
No, I'm saying that's called by His Majesty's name.
That School of Vision. That's a mansion. That's not a house. The house that is called by His Majesty's name, that is the house that is needed to be respected.
What is the difference between the house and the mansions?
The mansions are different separated places, but the house is a representative of the fathers and the elders. In my father's house, there are many mansions. And it said, upon this rock I build my church, and the gate of hell cannot prevail over it.
But the point you're making, isn't this one of the main reasons why the efforts to organize and centralize cannot happen? Because everyone is claiming the right to exist as a mansion or as a house, the sovereignty of each Rastafari house or mansion. That everyone say, I am, we are, this is where you have to be.
And as I explained to you again, my sister, it said, in my father's house, there are many mansions. It never said in my father's mansion there are many houses.
So let me ask you. So which Rastafari house or mansion was the very first one at the very beginning?
Well, as I said, it formulated from the Bakawal era, right?
And which house or mansion came out of that?
The formulation of the Haile Selassie and the Bobo house. The Nyabingi house were coming through the Asians them.
And that was after the
destruction of the Bakawal garbage dump.
And you're saying the first one was the Africa
Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, wherein the two elders in the Bakawal era of that time, of my knowledge, it was Bongo Lide and Bongo Puro. Those were the those two elders that when the groundation was to call for the rest of them to have any gathering over the island, it was those two elders that have to travel out to different parts of the parishes to recognize and to observe the ground that this groundation were to keep. So Bongo Lide was a very important brethren within the Rastafari gathering at the Bakawal era, just like how Bongo Eddie was the head of the Ethiopian Black Congress.
Right, otherwise known as a Bobo. And you're saying these two houses
yes,
emerged out of, they were the first to emerge out of
the Bakawal era.
The Bakawal.
Yes.
And what years we're looking at?
And that was in the early 50s. Those time I was a young man going to school at Denham Town. So that's why I have a little knowledge of what were taking place at that time. I were going to Denham Town School.
All right. So I've had, I don't know if you heard that whole series of program that I did on with the Bobby Dreads and also with the sister who wrote the history of that with Prince Emmanuel and so on. So for those who heard that, you'll be familiar with that history. Now, this is the first time we're having this kind of conversation with Priest Wesley Kelly, because we didn't even make the distinction, Priest Kelly. I didn't even make the distinction until the conversations I've been having with you between the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, as you're laying it out, and what I know existed in St. Thomas. And you're saying that they're not the same thing.
No, because the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church, it never come to Jamaica as a church. It came to Jamaica as a Coptic haulage container that reside at Slipe Road. It never came as a church. It's after they start to establish themselves as a church in the St. Thomas region.
All right. So let us go now to the bill, because one of the things you're pointing to show the legitimacy of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church is the bill, which is entitled An Act for the Incorporation of the Haile Selassie, the First Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto, and the vesting of certain property in the body so incorporated. And it says, whereas a person hereinafter named and other persons inhabitants of this island have been associated together under the name the Haile Selassie the First Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church for the teaching and spread of the gospel as taught by them, etc., etc. So it is not very long, but I can't read all of it on air, and we'll tell you where to find it. But then suffice to say that it goes on to say, be it enacted by the Queen's most excellent majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate and House of Representatives of Jamaica, and by the authority of the same as follows. And it goes on, and you'll tell us about that. So this bill that I'm reading from, 2 pages, well, because we're on this paper says about 3 pages. This is, how credible is this document? that we're looking at, His Majesty?
Well, the credible of it, you see, it was in 2015 that when the Rastafari organization, Mansions, and the church marched from Mandela Park to Jamaica House. And we were instructed to go to the Prime Minister's office in Jamaica House. Let me share something with the island and the people. On the way down, escorting by the security of the Jamaica House, I was told by this barrister woman from England, Anna Barrington. She stopped me in the track and said twice, Priest Kelly, when you go before the Prime Minister, we are asking you not to say nothing at all. I comply, and we go inside. We all took our seat, and we addressed ourselves from which mansion and where we are from, Bonneville's and Maxine Store and all these brethren that we visit here. And they share documents with the Prime Minister, human rights, indigenous people's rights, and musical copyrights. And during that time, they all share discussion with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister speak to them and get up out of his seat, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, and come in front of I and said, but from I see you sitting down here, I've heard you say nothing at all. When him said that to I referenced to this Bill of Rights, where I said to him, so Mr. Minister, now that you have said something to I would like you to verify this document for me. And I took it out and I show him it. And him say, yes, that's government paper. That's the Bill of Rights. And I said, would you mind read what on it for me, please, sir? And him so do. So this is the document that he have verified to give me that authority to know that I can sit up here today to discuss this relevant document that have been ignored by all the mansions them in the island.
And in essence, what is this bill saying? What is this bill saying?
This bill is showing that this church, remember we have all different churches of the colonizers, but this church that have been recognized by the Queen Most Excellent Majesty that she sent to the Senate and the House of Representatives to remind them the power of authority that this church carry in this island, to show that in my father's house there are many mansions. So if you check all the mansions, them, if they have a document of this magnitude to show that so legal right.
It does say in section 3, subsection 1, the following persons, that is to say, Tedwick Nelson White.
Abuna Blackheart, he died.
The Abuna. Lloyd Maver.
The Zerubbabel, he died.
Keith Baker.
He died.
Cecil Hudson.
He died.
Uriel Maitland.
He died.
Winston Burrell.
He's alive.
And
Wesley Kelly.
Wesley Kelly. What do we know Winston Burrell as?
Winston Burrell is just another member of the Ethiopian.
Oh, so you're like Bongo Burrell or Bongo Winston or nothing like that. Just Winston Burrell would I call him. Just a check to see if we know him by another name. To say who.
We call him Bongo Sashel.
Bongo Sashel.
Yes.
And all of 11 Welcome Avenue, Kingston 11, the parish of St. Andrew,
yes,
and their successors for the time being in the respective offices of chairman, secretary, treasurer of the association shall and are hereby declared and appointed a corporation or body corporate to have continuance forever and perpetual succession by the name the Haile Selassie, the Rastafari Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, and possessed of a corporation seal.
Blessed love, my sister, as I said, the seal.
Yes.
May I have it in my bag and I can show you the fullness of the seal.
Let me see it. Let me see the seal. And possessed of a corporation seal, and by that name may sue and be used in all courts of this island. Now it goes on. The seal of corporation shall be of such design and pattern as a corporation may from time to time determine, etc. So there's a whole lot there. And So the question then, Priest Kelly, is, all right, let me take a break and come back while you look for the seal.
Rise with the sun and face the day.
The Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, and also the ETOP, Ethio-Africa Theological Union policy. But in particular, we're now looking at the bill. The bill that was it. So, what was the process that this bill took? This went through the House and was passed. What was the process?
Yeah, the process is there was a church private bill within the House of Representatives that represent other mansions, other churches within the island. And that was a private bill that was supposed to be passed in the House of Representatives to give all these churches in the Jamaica Council of Churches the right to administrate their churchical authority in the island. Just like how the Mormons were given that authority, the Judah Coptic Church, the Haile Selassie Church, was a part of that entourage of churches
That was also given that authority.
that were given that authority. You see? Just like how the seal, where it said the seal is supposed to be the symbol of authority, and it's supposed to be used within the court of this island.
Right. So I just saw the seal that you have there, and I've seen a few of seals in my time, and so this is the seal for the. It is with you.
Yes.
Meaning that you are the
high priest who have the authority to use it within that authority of the chairman, within the secretary, and the treasurer.
All right. So what's the executive of a church like now? Do you have all these titles that were included in the bill? The chairman, secretary, treasurer. You embody all of those.
For now, because we are organizing to get an executive body to administrate within the churchical authority. Okay.
Why should Rastafari be a part of this when so many Rastafari do not subscribe to the idea of church, and even more so, the monarchy as head of state, where a bill that comes under the head of state of Jamaica, whether it is the King of England or the Queen of England, why should Rastafari subscribe to this when they really don't? This is something that Rastafari are born, if you will. So why should they embrace this?
But if you notice, my sister, Rastafari have born everything, document, papers, in everything from early time. While the Judah Coptic Church never burned it, they burn these things.
We're talking about why, because you're calling for, you're saying that there needs to be this, within the teachings of His Imperial Majesty, organize and centralize that this is a teaching and this is what is needed, but that this is to be done through the Royal Ethiopia Judah Coptic Church, which has the power because of the bill.
Yes.
And this is why I'm asking you, why should Rastafari organize through and with the Royal Ethiopia Judah Coptic Church when so many Rastafari, not everyone, do not subscribe to the idea of church, and secondly, and probably even more importantly, to the monarchy as giving them rights for anything and to do anything.
But if you check it out, the monarchy visit us when we were a people that were claimed as subversive element and escapist cultists in 1963. He visited us in 1966 and he gave us blessing and even gave the elders our ancient gold medals and even provided a wealth for our development of a school. So the school was supposed to be the learning process of our people and a community for the development of our people in this island. Now, we are coming from a far back. and we are going to it in our ages now. We are supposed to be a people of reckoning in this island to show that we were claimed by an empire and an emperor from a colonial distinguish of rulers over us. So it is our time now for rise up and to show why we were recognized by the emperor of an empire.
But one of the things the empire did also was to leave, if you will, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Yes, my sister, I give thanks you mentioned that. Because His Majesty came here in 1966. And the Ethiopian Orthodox Church was sent here in the 1970s to look about His Majesty business and to see that his people being recognized and to guard by the Toledo Orthodox faith. But the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, when they came here, they changed what also His Majesty gave them to do and joined with the Jamaica Council of Churches and disbarred His Majesty and disbarred the Rastaman work that is supposed to be done in this island. So that's why this church rise up as the E.L. Selassie Rastafari Judah Coptic Church, as the sanct book that Ras Ivai Tafari write said, Ethiopia have established church and monastery from a way back, and it been carrying out the rules and the regulation of righteousness amongst our people. So it seems a way when we come and see that Rastaman is burning churches, burning documents and literature. We are in
figuratively, not literally. But so here's the thing. You said something about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which I think that we have to come back and look at a bit, which is to say, we saw the split in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Right.
It did not originate in Jamaica.
No.
It originated from Ethiopia. So to say that they disrespected His Majesty,
yes,
and all of that is partly true, because there was the church literally split in two because of that. So we had that schism, and the church that still it respects His Majesty and respects the original remains. These two churches, in the same way that the UNIA has split in two, and one is gone off another way, and the original for Molamu Marcus Mosiah Garvey UNIA still remains. The thing is to find which one is the original.
Good.
But it's not quite true to say that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church by itself disrespected His Majesty, because what happened was a schism and them split in two, with the original remaining.
Good.
So, but doesn't that make a difference then? You're saying the original is not on the island?
Well, the original is still exists in Maxwell Avenue, and from it being here, it haven't been sure the charisma of development that is supposed to, because if it is coming from Ethiopia, why His Majesty set up an Ethiopian trust fund for the benefit of his people from Ethiopia to the diaspora, to the islands, and it as a representative of His Majesty work to be done in the island. The church of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church should be established as a monastery, that not as a place that is not developed up till now. So why it is not developing? Why it is not being uphold by the work that's supposed to be done through the...
What would you, when you say develop, what would you want to see that it is not doing?
Empress, for a entity like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, when I went there, it is in not a fully developed, structured, like how the Roman Catholic Church would be developed, or you'd say the Mormon's Church will come in after, develop so gigantic and glorious. It is still in a deplorable condition. It is not developed.
And you're saying that what about the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church? It's not developed. And where are you? But let me take
my sister.
Well, hang on there. Let me take a quick break. And Priest Wesley Kelly is in the house. We're talking about the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, and the bill that Priest Kelly is telling us that this bill was passed in the House, and this was part of the wider, and we do remember that time, the wider push by the government over time to incorporate churches and to ensure that even cultural groups that were operating as churches, that they could be properly licensed, if you will. So there is this bill, legalese and all, and which Priest Kelly is telling us that was also verified by the now Prime Minister Andrew Holness. We were talking about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. In terms of development, you're saying the Ethiopian Church isn't developed, and so the point I raised was, to what extent is the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church not developed, and could it be that the reason for the problems, as you see them, the challenges within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, that they're similar to the same challenges that the Royal
Coptic Church
would be having?
Going through.
Yes. And that would be what?
Because truth has been ignored by all mansions and all Rastafari brethren and sisters. It is in our, I would say, a position now that it needs to be repaired and to be structured in the right way that it can function properly.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and that is why I am so up in myself now to get this thing being published, to know that there is an entity here to represent our Rastafari family that is called by His Majesty name. Just like how the school is called by His Majesty name, and it is in a deplorable condition. Because even on the Labor Day project that take place at the school, for we have so much Rastafari all over the island within music fraternity, business sector, and all of that. And for a school that were given to us, for our children to be learned, and even our parents and ourselves to be learned in education. The school is in a deplorable condition, just like how the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is in a deplorable condition, just like how the Haile Selassie Judah Coptic Church is in a deplorable condition. And we have so much entertainers, so much updated Rastafari within the ganja sector and all of that. And none is putting out no effort to see this entity being established in the right form, where His Majesty said Ethiopia and Jamaica is one.
What do you think about what the Rastafari mansions and organizations, the RMO, is doing? Do you know of the work they're doing, and what do you think about it?
Well, as I know, the RMO is trying to establish themselves above the Haile Selassie Church.
Are they not trying to do exactly what you're calling for, which is to organize and centralize?
They are trying to prove themselves to be the authority over a church that has been recognized by even the Prime Minister of this island.
Have you had a discussion with the RMO to say this body exists, the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, that this exists, and a lot of what you're doing can be done through this process, or we can do it together? Have you had that conversation with them?
I can give a clarification on that, my sister. It is I who presented to Rasbali Siba of the House of Siba the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church membership form. It is I who give them that form. So he know about the church. He is a part of the Judah Coptic membership form.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But you're saying that as it is now, the two are not working together, the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church and the RMO. In other words, I heard from the RMO, because I've had many discussions with them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we have reps from the RMO coming on this morning to talk about other issues. And one of the things I understand is that there is a call for mansions and organizations to support the work, and that many have already done so, but some haven't.
Can I clarify something to you?
Mm-hmm.
I see the RMO call a reasoning at Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center at Hope Road. The El Selassie Judah Catholic Church wasn't invited, but I find myself in the venue. And all the function that going on there. The entertainer or the man who conduct the program.
The MC.
The MC. All he turned and said, you know, so from I come on the stage here, I've been seeing this man stand up here. And I haven't seen him move. And they address the 12 mansions that they have recognized at that function there. And not one time the MC have said, this is the El Selassie or the Priest Kelly or whatever you want to describe me as. No. And the mansion now have advanced to 14. And yet still, if you check their list, the El Selassie Church is not on the list of the RMO.
And the reason for that, you're saying that you have not been invited, you have not been asked.
No. You see? Yet still, they have invited me when they have certain function to give reverence to open their
well, I'm sure that representatives from the RMO are listening, and that this will get back to them. And this is something that you would sign on to. You would be a part of this if asked. You're saying.
Sure, I'll be glad to be there, but sure, I'm not being recognized as a person of no quality. They are not assisting me within getting me to be a part of their organization. You see?
So I'm going to leave it there because I know they're listening, and I'm sure that they can take it from here with you.
So, and before I leave my sister, I give up, I would like to share a very important part of this Bible that King James gave us within Isaiah 41.
Right, but we know very well in this space that King James changed the entire Bible to enslave Black people. And this is why we say there are many Bibles before King James changed the Bible to suit him depravity and him racism and all of that. So you can go ahead and read it, but I still have to say that we do not support the King James version of the Bible.
It's not the version I speak about now.
The same King James Bible, man.
Yeah, but
which
this one is the King James original Bible.
That is just worse than the version.
This one is what Queen Victoria give Collins and Sons to print this book.
Why are we talking about these enslavers? Queen Victoria.
We have to speak about them because they are the colonizers that is still existing today.
You don't have the Ethiopian Amharic Bible.
You
don't have the Amharic Bible.
Empress. What Queen Victoria said, why he print this book here? Just a minute.
My brother,
a minute. It is before to show that the people
this space,
were taken in English.
All right,
language.
go ahead and read, because we're out of time. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. It said, keep silent before I, O island, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment. You see? Because I am the man that he called and set I on my foot. 2016 that I walked this island of Jamaica. 40 days of walking. And this part of the book give me the charisma to show that he have called I. It's not of myself why I come here even today.
Hear you loud and clear.
Blessed love.
Yeah, hear you loud and clear, Priest Kelly. Right. We're totally out of time, but I give you a minute just to say a final word to the Rastafari community, specifically because I know you wanted the Rastafari community to hear you this morning when you speak. So go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm calling upon all mansions to organize and centralize and let us come together as one now. That we can cause to formulate and know that we are seeking to form a community in this island. And we are calling upon the Prime Minister, now that the people have given him a third time to rule, let him unite ourselves together, unite our people together, and not let it just end up as we are too black to succeed. Let us succeed now. Let us carry out the work of the unification of our people. The united we stand, divided we fall.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Blessed love.
Priest Kelly, thanks for coming in and sharing with us. Priest Kelly is High Priest of the Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church, overseer of the Ethio-African Theological Union Policy, ETOP. Thank you so much, my brother.
Safe, reliable, great value. Always buy from an authorized IGL dealer. The time by IGL is
now 14 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. You're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African. Interesting article in the, sometimes we quote the Daily Mail inside of this program, and we really shouldn't. But out of the UK, interesting article coming out of the UK this morning. Headline reading, Jamaican Prime Minister called King Charles to say that he was not told that they were coming. Now, and then it goes on to say the Jamaican Prime Minister was blindsided by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's visit to the Caribbean island nation last year, which left him in an awkward position with King Charles, it has been claimed. Teresa Roberts, Jamaica's ambassador for culture to the UK, told the Mail on Sunday that Harry and Meghan's surprise appearance at the premiere of Bob Marley's biopic, One Love, caused a diplomatic dilemma for Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who feared their attendance would be interpreted by the royal family as a political statement. But Ms. Roberts claimed Mr. Holness had no idea that Harry and Meghan were planning to attend the event and that the Prime Minister had felt compelled to make a phone call to Buckingham Palace to clarify that he had no prior knowledge of the couple being there. He wanted to assure the king that the meeting was not prearranged and that there was no ulterior motive. If this is true, then Prime Minister Holness must say something to the island that a African woman is coming into Jamaica, a black woman is coming into Jamaica, no matter how you look on her, and that who has been slaughtered in the media because of her African mother, and that the Prime Minister felt it necessary to take up the phone and call King Charles the most racist of them all because he never want a diplomatic situation. This is serious. This is not a simple situation. This to me is egregious. And one of the things that I think we need from the Prime Minister is a clarification on this article. We know the Daily Mail, or the Daily Fail, as many of us call it, lies all the time. But they're not saying sources say. They're not saying according to sources. They're calling names. Teresa, what her name, who is a UK rep for culture, Jamaica. They're calling names that this person said to us that the Prime Minister called King Charles to say, I am, the long and short of it, I didn't know that this black girl was coming here. I know so no like black people. This is basically what it is. Because the only reason why the UK hates this woman so much is because her mother is black. And the Prime Minister must know that. You'll recall that I stood up in this space and defended Prime Minister Andrew Holness for about half an hour because of the bad negative press he was getting, probably more than half an hour, probably 45 minutes, because of the negative press he was getting in the UK media, because he welcomed them. And I stood here and I cussed from the bass to the treble every single media outlet in the UK that was writing negatively about the Prime Minister. Not only that, I wrote to those newspapers. I answered. I was in the comment pages of every single one of them, telling them off properly on behalf. He didn't ask me. He didn't ask me. But, I stand up when I want to stand up. Nobody can tell me when to stand up and who to stand up for. So I stand up. So if this is true, then the Prime Minister owes us clarification. IRFM, this program was not the only one to stand up when Prime Minister Holness was being reported on so negatively in newspapers in the UK. I'm sure that other programs did also. Nationwide was one of those. Other stations did. I think people in Jamaica who were watching this were pretty upset with what the British newspapers were saying about the Prime Minister. But I found it interesting that, and the Prime Minister was pretty silent about it, and then he was asked, and I think he gave a one-liner at some point. So if what the Daily Fail is saying is true, if what is being reported in the UK is true, then Prime Minister Holness owes us an explanation and probably owes this black girl, because she's black, while she's being literally torn apart. It's like it's massacred. She is hated for just breathing, living as a black woman. And because of that, the Prime Minister owes us an explanation. I am saying that without apology. Now, this is what is being reported in the newspaper this morning. Now, lots of things to say. Like Peter Tosh, I'm not a politician. I do not belong to any party, but I pay the consequences. So let me say another thing quickly. The Prime Minister is a member of the Privy Council. And we're talking about republicanism. We're talking about moving away from the monarchy. That is a conflict of interest. And so that when a black girl is coming into Jamaica, he has to apologize to the white man who is the enslaver. The children of the enslaver, you have to apologize to them, allegedly. But they're quoting, you need to call Teresa, because Teresa in the newspaper tell him all kind of something, them call her name. So I don't know if Teresa did call you before to say, I'm going to talk to the Daily Fail about this, the Mail on Sunday. But Teresa is out there saying everything, talking out the whole of your business. And it's not good business. It don't look good. It doesn't look good. Not at all. Now, the ones I've had the next discussion, which is coming up at 8 o'clock, which is to look at the issues relating to the Armada, the U.S. Armada that is now in the Caribbean, the U.S. incursion in Caribbean waters, and to talk a little bit about the Political. Political is reporting this morning, and you can find that story ahead of me talking about it, that the Pentagon in the United States has a new defense strategy. And Political is saying, it's an exclusive to Political. They're saying that they got a peek at this new defense strategy that is now on the desk of, Pete Hegseth. And so as a result of that, Political had this article out this morning entitled Pentagon Plan. Let me get that up. My internet is slow. Pentagon Plan prioritizes homeland over China threat. Now listen carefully, because I've been saying to you, the incursion in Caribbean waters, the Armada, 8 warships, nuclear-powered submarines, 10 F-35 fighter jets from the U.S. alone, and in the Caribbean waters, and another warship off the coast of Guadeloupe sent by France. That has nothing to do with narco trafficking. It don't even have anything to do with transnational organized crime that we have been talking about for a very long time in this space. What it has to do with, 3 things. 1, regime change in Venezuela, but not isolated. Venezuela is connected to China. one of the heaviest investment in Venezuela is China. This is geopolitics at its most intense. So read the political article. So 1, China, Venezuela, Guyana, Venezuela, Russia, Cuba, and Russia, Caribbean waters. If you recall, Russia just sent 2 nuclear-powered submarines through the Caribbean waters just a few months ago, you know. So if you read what Politico is saying this morning, that the Pentagon plan prioritizes homeland over China threat, this tells us that they have taken the war to the Caribbean. And I'm going to come back to it because we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention. This is not as simple as it appears. This is not about drug trafficking. This is not about narco trafficking. This is not about gun running. This is the geopolitical war on the heels of China. And one of the reasons, listen, China, we mentioned it this morning, on the 3rd of September, 2nd into 3rd, rolled out what I am calling the most definitive military operation yet, to show the world that China is now the global political, economic, and military leader. And basically what China has said to the United States and the European Union, come test now, come test. Because if you look again, and we were all, well, you were all distracted, mostly distracted by what was happening with the elections and so on, that you paid little or no attention. Trinidad has gone out. The United States bombed a fishing vessel in Caribbean waters. 11 people did in there. And they said it was drug running. No, even if it is the most dangerous drug on earth, international law dictates that you swoop down upon them with the 8 nuclear-powered submarine and warships and the 10 F-35 military jets that you have, and take them out of that boat and carry them for questioning. What did the U.S. do? The U.S. bombed the boat and killed all 8 of them in Caribbean waters. I want to ask a few questions. 1, what if any other ships were around or boats were around? Jamaican fishing in those areas. 2, what about international human rights and the law of the sea? What about the legality of all of this? Someone questioned the legality and J.D. Vance responded, I don't give a SH ending with T about legal and law. We took them out. This is the Vice President of the United States. This is Caribbean waters. CARICOM has not said anything as CARICOM. CARICOM foreign ministers put out a wishy-washy statement just now. But CARICOM as CARICOM. Today is Africa CARICOM Day. They are meeting in Ethiopia. I don't know. I've been checking all the websites. I'm watching everything I can watch online. I have not seen a proper response from CARICOM. Jamaica is leading CARICOM this year. CARICOM is now in Jamaica. The Prime Minister is the head of CARICOM this year. Do you know what Trinidad said? Kamala Bissesa, when she responding to the bombing, the killing of 11 people in a fishing boat in Caribbean waters, said, kill them all. Kill them all. This is from Kamala Bissesa. Do you understand? Guyana says, and Kamala went further. I'm going to take a break because I have some interviews coming up, and I'm going to return to this in the 9 o'clock hour. No? Miguel Lowen? Yeah, go ahead. So we're standing by to speak with my brother, Miguel Lorne. And let me tell you who else we have online, who's coming up online in a short while. Good morning to you, Sister Yaya in Belize. How you doing, my sister? Good morning to you, Brother Akamutota out of Trinidad. Good morning to you, my brother Darius Ferrer out of Trinidad. Good morning to our listeners from Trinidad, from Guyana. The people of the Caribbean are standing strong. It's the leaders who are about to betray the people of the Caribbean. They've done this before. They did this on the continent of Africa. They have done this many times in the Caribbean. The Monroe Doctrine it's been them take it off and them dust it off, and it's the shiniest thing they have. Read the political article until I come back to you. But we're standing by to speak with my brother Miguel Lorne and other members of the RMO, Rastafari Mansions and Organizations, and going to be talking about a few issues as we get ready to go back to school. Few issues that are of specific importance to Rastafari children. So, Brother Miguel Lorne, attorney, he represented the first legal case to remove a Rastafari youth from being barred from school because of his dreadlocks. So he's going to be putting that in historical perspective for us. Sitota Brissett is a recent graduate of Wolmer's High School who as a Rastafari student, experienced multiple levels of discrimination and bullying from administrators and children. We're also going to be talking to a parent of a child currently attending a Rousseau Primary, who is not Rastafari, but who has been asked by the school to cut her son's long hair. And Ras Ayunda, parent of a son who is experiencing several challenges at school. So we're standing by to speak with them. Wow, I'm sorry they're not online yet because we only have half an hour. We really are going to get off just about 8:30 because we have to. So I'm not quite sure what's happening. But if we could get to, even if we get Ras Miguel Lorne, our brother Miguel Lorne, alone, that will be fine if you can't get the others. You're wondering what happened, but I don't know if you picked up what happened. K. Ezekwe, did you pick up what happened just now? The legitimate Rastafari mansions and organizations for the purpose of harnessing the collective assets and resources of the Rastafari community in Jamaica. I think I do have. Let me see who I have. Brother Miguel, is that you?
Yes, I'm here.
Greetings, my brother. Anyone else with you? Do we have?
No, I'm here.
Yeah, somebody else is here. Who is this?
Sitota.
Yes, I.
Sitota. All right. We're flying on one wing, Miguel, so you know how we go.
Yes. And it's a very interesting program so far.
I'm
so interested. I'm writing.
Yes.
You have raised numerous issues which are so important.
My brother, and I want you to come back and we talk about some of them another time. Yeah. But I want to start with you, Miguel, just to put things in historical perspective, because here we are again, going back to school. And our children are facing the very same issues. There's discrimination across the board, but specifically with Rastafari children. And you've been at the forefront of this. Tell us a little bit about your experience and kind of just contextualize where we are now with this struggle about representing yourself and your true identity as Rastafari in the Jamaican education system, in the school spaces.
I agree with you that, we thought we had solved this problem long ago, from 1984, 1985, when we had the Kirk Johnson case with the problem with Camperdown High School.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk had passed his scholarship to go to Camperdown, and Camperdown refused to take him because of his dreadlocks. We brought the matter to court. It was before justice. It came before previous judges who sort of hide it out, duck it out. Then it came before Justice Paul Harrison. I remember the case because I argued the case. And Paul Harrison ruled that he should be allowed to go to school. I drafted the order that the judge made. I served the order on the chairman of the Camperdown School Board.
Yes.
I served the order on the Ministry of Education. I served the order on the principal of the Camperdown High School. And so he started school. He started school. He missed about a term because while those legal machinations were taking place, he was not in school. But he started school after missing about a term. So I thought that issue was dealt with, and I used that precedent because we had other issues in school. I would write the Ministry of Education. The ministry, I've known of instances that they sent the chief education officer to the school, tell them what is the law, and remind them that is a ministry subvention which is keeping the school going. So
It is
they
a
must
ministry.
abide by the law.
It is a ministry.
Yeah.
Because along the way, we hear from time to time that each school and the chair and the whole thing almost have some autonomy on this, and they're making their decisions. But
continue.
No, but I'm hearing from you now, Brother Miguel, that this is a ministry policy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm certain of that. Because I would write the Ministry of Education. I would tell them the school. We're talking about schools like even St. George's College, that the ministry sent the chief education officer and tell them, no, you cannot have a policy of excluding a dreadlock Rastafarian. And many of the schools.
Wow.
I
know we have...
But what happened?
Yes,
what happened?
Go ahead.
When the recent case came up with Kensington School, you see what happened? My files were burnt up. There was a fire at the bottom arcade, which spread over to my building and burnt up all of my records.
Wow.
I searched the Supreme Court for the records and couldn't find them.
Yes. Oh.
So,
yeah.
But for the matter to be coming up, that's very, very, at this stage,
Yeah. And we have Sitota is with you. Sitota Brissett, recent graduate of Wolmer's High School and a Rastafari. Your own experiences, you're a recent graduate, Sitota. How challenging was it for you, or was it easy peasy breezy?
Okay, blessed morning, everyone.
Greetings.
Greetings.
So, to talk about my challenges, it would start from prep school. That is where most of my discrimination started, because high school was more peer discrimination that kind of stemmed from ignorance. They just didn't know that there was someone that could not eat meat for their whole life and who observed these principles but could talk like this or whatever. So it was just foreign to them. So it was mostly peer discrimination in high school. But in prep school, when I had luck, because I pull out my long time.
All right, okay, hang on for me, Sitota. Hang on for me, please. Somebody has their radio on, and if you keep your radio on, then we won't be able to hear anything. Yes, go ahead, my sister. So you're saying at high school it was peer discrimination, but the challenges for you in terms of policy and school policy happened at the prep school level. Talk to me about that.
Yes. So I had lost basically my whole time at prep school until grade 6 when I pulled them out before coming to high school. And around grade 4, I started to have them a bit more free form, like not getting twisted, like, getting a little bit Congo. And it really, the bullying started more then and not from my peers. I think mostly peer administration, they would make a little comment, tell me, oh, my ribbon don't look good where it is and stuff like that. And I think maybe like looking back now, because I developed this kind of subconscious habit to be taking my pencil and just be playing with my hair. And I started to like pull out my hair unknowingly with my pencil. And looking at the time, I just thought it was a little habit, but looking back, I could see that some of what they were saying was actually affecting me. And yeah, when I went to my mom about it, and I was like, yeah, I want to pull out my hair before I go to high school. And she was trying to ask me, like, why? She knew that I was getting these comments, and well, she didn't know everything, but she knew most about the peers. I don't think she knew much about higher administration. But she never forced me to say, like, you have to keep them. Because for me, Rastafari has been more like a liberty, you know, in my diet. And as I've been going to Nyabingi, being kind of raised within the village of Rastafari people, I'm also a member of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And that's a whole other thing with explaining to people that it's not only Rastafari members that come to my church and stuff like that. So what kept me grounded was the fact that my parents especially made me remember that my locks is not the only thing that makes me represent Rastafari. And it didn't stop discrimination, because even when I went to high school without locks, my name would open up a conversation for where I'm from, what's my culture, what's my religion. And people
just your name, Sitota. Yes, I understand. I can totally identify with that, because they're doing it even when you're adults. So obviously, and you sound good. Let me just say that. You sound really good. So that against the backdrop of all of that, and for such a young person, and I hear the extent to which you give credit to your parents for holding you while you were going through all of that. Now you have graduated. What next for you? Are you off to university?
Yes, I have started at the University of the West Indies, just completed my first week. So.
Congratulations. All right, sounds good. Okay, also online, I do think, I'm not quite sure if we have Ras Ayunda. Ras Ayunda, you there?
Yeah.
Ayunda?
Yes, man. Ras Ayunda is there. Yes.
Yes, man. Greetings, my brother.
Greetings, the one and all.
You're the parent of a son who is experiencing several challenges at school.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I'm a prince. I'm a princesses going to school. I have an issue with the ear, as Miguel and the eyes. So away from that, we have our next issue with, like, when they go to school in the morning, the praises after them left I and I home, after, Rastafari of life, of natural liberty, They go to the school now. When they reach at the school now, they must go into the Jesus worshiping, where kind of disturb I. Because even the youth, them naturally say, they rather go to school and stay in the classroom until the Jesus the church worshiping done in the morning. So that is something would like even the ministry to make a talk on. Because they make a little talk on the ear thing,
Yes.
I would like to make them make a talk on the Jesus worshiping, where I and I faith, these are more towards life. I would teach you that way of life. If when them go school, them could have, without the school have to interrupt them, so them have to come to the devotion, come to the, them way there. That is one thing. And the next thing again, now, we away from that, the food, if the school them have cook food, them can know say you have prince and princesses in the school that don't eat up the meat. So them can put a natural meal for the youth. Look out for everyone.
Yes.
So we have issue with the ears, and we have issue with those things too.
Right. So you have issue with with devotion, with the religious aspect of things, and also with food.
I have Muslim, Jamaica, I have Rasta,
Let me take a break and come forward. Hold on.
When I need to order concrete for my big or small jobs, I order only solid concrete. Yes, solid concrete mix for my...
Looking at the issues, the challenges facing Rastafari just across the board, and specifically we're talking about some of the issues that the RMO are now kind of bringing the attorneys, the teachers, the resource persons, and those who are survivors and victims of the system against Rastafari even now. I'll tell you a little bit more about the RMO in a short while. We don't have a whole lot of time left. So one of the things I want to do is is my sister Shanna K. Blair there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. So Shanna K., Good morning. Greetings, my sister. You are
Good morning.
also a parent?
Yes, I am.
And your child attend Rousseau Primary?
No, he is supposed to attend Rousseau's High School. That's the school he passed for
All right.
from his PEP examination.
All right. And
he's coming from New Horizon Prep.
Yeah. Tell me what's a particular issue and challenge with your darling little son?
So from birth, he hasn't had a haircut because he had the asthma real bad. So the doctors had advised me that I should have cut the hair because it helps to protect the mole. However, he's been growing the hair from ever since. But it hasn't been dreadlocks, it just has been growing. So due to the fact that it was a prep school, I didn't have any problem with this hair. But transferring to high school now, they're informing me that they only allowed groomed young men or Rastafarians. So I asked the school, what is groomed? They said that the hair has to be an inch. The only length of the hair, it has to be an inch high the most and properly lined or whatever. So I said to them that my child hasn't had a haircut. So if it is that I want him to come to school and I want to work with the school rules, they informed me that they only accept Rasta differently from that they don't accept the hair. So I said to the principal, I got a letter from the Rasta organization, which is Mr. Vassell, and he's the CEO of that organization, saying that my child is affiliated with Rasta and all of that. So I said I'm going to lock the child here. So when I take my son in for school, the principal is letting me know that even if I lock the child here, they won't allow him to come to the school.
Why?
Because
why?
Because that is not, he's not a real Rasta. So I'm saying that's my right as a parent to decide if I want my child here to cut or not. So if I'm working with the school board and the guidelines then, and you understand, if I want to cut the child here,
I understand totally.
How is that affecting his education? That's not your job. Your job is to provide a safe and educational environment for my child. If I want to dreadlock the child here, that shouldn't affect him coming to school. You're going to let me know that you're not going to accept him all when we did him dreadlock the child here.
So, and you have done that? His hair is now not?
Yes. And she said she not accept it all if me do it. I said it to her. I said, at that time, I got the tam stitched and everything for matching khaki and all of that thing. You're well covered and all of that. She said, no, she still not accept it because I'm only going to lock the child here because I want him to keep it. That is not her decision.
And Brother Miguel, because we only have a few minutes to go, and you've heard what the brother and the sister said, and our young sister too is also at university. Your response to all of that, and I know you're working with the RMO to help to
yes,
these parents.
And really, when you do this thing for 40 odd years, almost 50 years, you get tired.
Yes.
So, I don't want to talk to no government again. I don't want to talk to the minister again.
What do we
One thing
do?
I would suggest, we take it to court and, and so I hate to go talk to them. I keep talking. In the 1980s, I talk with them, the ministers. Them is just hypocrite. All of them is just hypocrite, may I tell you, when come on to dreadlocks Rasta.
So do you recognize? So what? So okay. So basically,
you know the root of this problem.
Yes.
And I discovered this root when I went to serve the papers at Camperdown, and then the order was that I must serve it on the school board. And the chairman of the school board, I had to go up to Meadowbrook. Camperdown is no Windward Road, I had to go up to Meadowbrook Church. That's the root of the problem, Most of these schools are church schools. It is written in the education policy that church members must be part of the board of most of these schools in Jamaica. And
so
that's the root of our problem. And these churches discriminate against dreadlocks Rastafari. In other words, they see us as a competing religion to them.
But more than that, Miguel, you're not saying everything. They see it as blasphemy. This is basically the bottom line, because all religions are competing on the island. Rastafari as a liberty, a way of life, and whether church, you call it religious or otherwise, or whether you want to target faith-wise, is seen as blasphemy, and this is why we're getting the pushback. But even the hairstyle of locking your hair, even that is not. So this is a policing of black hair that is beyond the pale.
Mm-hmm.
So what's for you now, Shauna K? Where do you go from here? I know that the RMO is looking at your case. Yeah.
No, I've been trying to get in contact with them. I got in contact with the head office in the Hero Circle, and they connect me to Region 4. I haven't been successful in getting contact to anybody in Region 4. So I'm going to visit the office tomorrow.
You're being assisted by RMO, right? By the RMO? Rastafari Mansions and Organization?
Yes.
Brilliant. And my brother Ayunda,
Yes.
Where from here? Obviously the RMO is also assisting you?
Yeah. Yeah. I am the one, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yes. Go ahead. Who am I hearing? Is it Shauna K? Is that you, Shauna?
No, that's
no. Ayunda.
Sitota. Yeah, go ahead, Sitota.
Just a message, really, to the parents, because yes, like we have to focus on the policy and law, but I think you also need to look at the child's emotional state, because
and he was devastated because this is a child. Remember, I know, I'm looking at it from all angles. If the child hasn't had a haircut, I don't know what kind of impact it's going to have on him.
He's
terrified.
I see that is resonating with you. Let me just have Sitota, because this is a very important point that you're making with the parents who are listening widely. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Sitota.
Yeah. So basically, I just need parents to ensure that the child has confidence, because this is all an effort to also shut up the person, because they don't expect people that look a certain way to be competent sometimes. So you need to ensure that you instill in them a confidence that cannot be too affected by anyone else's opinion about how they look.
Yes.
Rastafari children are very smart, and we're out here getting education, and these are the distractions to come in. So
wow,
not just the parents, but the village around us, the whole, because Rastafari is all about unity and collective strength. So people in the village should also be trying to reach out to these children, to encourage them, to motivate them, because this is like a modern day Babylon for us. Back in the day, it was more people cutting off Rasta locks with buckle and stuff. They're trying to cut us off with words and with bullying in their opinions. So just ensure they have a confidence, because we need that foundation to fight against this thing.
And a very good point you're making. Excellent point. And I hear both Shauna K and I hear you, my brother Ayunda. Your own children, you're watching there, because our sister Sitota is reminding us as parents, watch the emotional state of your children. And I hear that both of you are agreeing with that. Let me start with you, Shauna K.
Yes, I do agree with that, because I believe the education ministry, how it is set up, it should focus on a child's ear. A ear should affect a child's education. The education ministry should set the environment for the child to learn. Because if I decided that I want my child to be a Buddhist tomorrow, I can guarantee you they would have no problem with that.
So shaving off a hair is no problem. And you are so right. My brother Ayunda, you're in the emotional state of your children. You're paying close attention, as our young sister Sitota is reminding us. Ayunda? All right, let me just go to brother.
Hello, Ayunda?
Yes. You have just a few seconds.
Yeah. This is Ayunda. Whenever Priest Lemon is here, he would like to say something.
Oh, I didn't know, but you have just a minute then, Priest, quickly.
I'll share the minute.
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, greetings, Kabu.
Greetings.
This is Priest Lemon.
Mm-hmm. Quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, you have your radio on, and we're out of time. Quickly, yes.
Yes, I just wanted to say I want to share the point that the Empress made about the emotional effect that it had on the children, because my children went to school and they came under a lot of pressure too. Even when my son was to wear his turban, you know, they didn't want him to wear it. So I had to go to the school. I went to school a couple of days without the turban. They were pulling his lock. They were doing a lot of things. It ended up that he had a fight with a boy. And then they called me, and I went there. I pointed out to the principal, then was Mrs. Cook, and I let her understand that was the fault of the school. Because many days when he complained to the teachers, they told him that he must be tolerant.
How did it work for him in the end? Is he okay emotionally? I mean, obviously.
Yes, of course. He is quite emotionally stable.
Yeah.
Because he was well cultured. As a Baba Chef too.
The work of the RMO in all of this, how important is this work?
It's very important because it's giving a collective voice to the problems that we are having.
Yes, brilliant.
Because some of the times when it's individual, then you come under so much, buffeting.
There's strength in numbers.
Like my case, they called like 19 persons in the office to try to dissuade me from letting them know that my son has his rights to wear it.
Now they know. I'm cutting you off because we're out of time, but now they know that there is a serious organization, the Rastafari Mansions, an organization behind Rastafari and people of culture. Miguel, Brother Miguel, we're out of time. One quick 15 seconds.
I just want to remind.
Yes.
It's three arms of government. Government means legislative, executive, and judiciary. The judiciary.
All right, so somebody's talking online. Miguel?
The judiciary.
Yes.
Even at the Court of Appeal level, I've represented, for example, we had a case with about a dozen Rastafarians from House of Dread next door to Rasaimo.
Miguel, we're out of time.
Yes, all right. Well, and even at the Court of Appeal level, they said that dreadlocks can come in court with their turban.
All right.
And with the rest of the government.
We'll link you back, Miguel. I'm so sorry.
Judiciary.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Good morning.
There are 8 warships, 2 nuclear-powered submarines, 10 F-35 fighter jets. That's from the U.S. alone. And from France, I haven't checked to see what kind of ship it is or what warship, but they have sent a warship, and it's off the coast of Guadeloupe, and they've said that they are supporting America's push to fight drug trafficking in these South Caribbean waters. They're pinpointing Venezuela because Venezuela is a go-to, right? And they're talking about Tren de Agua, and they're using some Spanish words and some Portuguese words and all kind of words to confuse us. The same thing they did with the names and the Arab language now after weapons of mass destruction in Iraq and so on, and Al-Qaeda. And when you hear the name Muhammad and you hear, Allahu Akbar and all of those, these are now trigger points for a lot of people to say that the people who speak these languages, the people who have this tongue, are terrorists. So they're doing this now with the Latin America language, and we say, I don't know why we're saying Latin America, but we use it for purposes of this conversation. So Venezuela, Colombia, and so on. Not Spain. Oh God, no, not Spain at all. It has Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba, and so on. So we are now beginning. It's manufacturing consent, and it's a programming of another group of people. They've now parked themselves in the Caribbean and are now manufacturing consent for the killing of South Americans, Caribbean people. They're parked. They just go and look at the graphics of how they are controlling the Caribbean waters. The fact that we haven't been hearing a whole lot about this tells us much more than we wanted to know. Trinidad has shown its ugly face. Trinidad has exposed its underbelly. And Kamel Abdesesa has come out to say kill them all. We do not care what CARICOM thinks. We're not consulting CARICOM on this. CARICOM was always a white elephant. CARICOM, St. Lucia called for CARICOM to be disbanded the other day, and a lot of people got up in arms and so on. But everything is about to change because this is a test for CARICOM. This is like the League of Nations. This is CARICOM's League of Nations time. It is. Went to the League of Nations to say you have to intervene because Italy is bombing my people, Ethiopians, with mustard gas. So, CARICOM foreign ministers, though, have met. They've come out with what I call a very wishy-washy statement. They have collectively raised concerns, and this is being reported in Barbados. This is not reported up to just the few minutes ago that I checked. This hasn't been reported anywhere else. So this is being reported in one newspaper in Barbados. So I don't even know if I should take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, here we go. And another thing I should say, that I was just going through the newspapers just now, and I haven't read it yet, but I noted last week that the editorial in the Sunday Gleaner spoke specifically to this as a warning. And today's Sunday Gleaner editorial again is speaking specifically to this matter as a warning. So I must commend the Sunday Gleaner, the Jamaica Gleaner, for not letting it go. A little bit late to the party, but on it in the way that you should. Now, it is the RGR Gleaner Group, so we need to hear it across your platforms. You have a whole lot of stations. I am speaking specifically now to media. And in this situation, we are no different from any other media. Because if media turns a blind eye to what is happening in the Caribbean waters, then we are a threat to democracy. Have met over and they have said they are concerned over the U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean community. And the foreign ministers have collectively said they raise concerns about the expanding U.S. military presence off the coast of Venezuela. They are urging the United States to provide reassurance that any military operation will not undermine regional stability or occur without prior consultation. Now, look here. Your sister, the CARICOM foreign ministers, I mean, what is this? What is this? You're saying to America, give us assurance that these military operations now go affect we, then which affect? It's in the Caribbean waters. Whoever they bomb today, they will bomb one of you tomorrow. They are already parked in the Caribbean waters, and not for the reason that they say they are there. So this give us assurance is a bag of bull. This give us assurance is a cowardly way, a spineless way, an amoeba kind of foolishness way to get out of this situation. So CARICOM foreign ministers, you have to come again. They are requesting prior notification, and they are requesting formal dialogue. So they've sent a letter. They said they sent a letter. We don't know if them sent it, but at least them drafted the letter. And Dr. Denzel Douglas, ministers, who is a chair, and he's requesting that Washington offer advance notice where feasible. So the letter is requesting, give us advance notice. Oh, only if you can. Where feasible, right? We're just writing this but only where feasible. Remember, we said where feasible. That's what. Requesting that Washington offer advance notice where feasible of military actions that could affect the Caribbean. Washington has already bombed a boat in the Caribbean waters. 11 people were in that boat. everyone who's looked at that said, one, is either AI, or two, that was not a boat that was trafficking drugs. That might have been fishermen or something else. But it definitely wasn't a narco trafficking. And even if it was narco trafficking, do you bomb a boat in the Caribbean with your military might of 8 submarines, warships, nuclear powered, and 10 F-35s? One little boat in the Caribbean with 11 people? Do you bomb it? What about the rule of law? J.D. Vance says he doesn't give a SH about the rule of law. He said it. Go and check his Twitter feed. Follow them on Twitter and Truth Social. Are aiming to avoid miscommunications with the U.S. and to sustain mutual confidence through stronger, more transparent diplomatic engagement. So Uno never did know. So the boat them did come in. When did CARICOM know that America was sending 2 nuclear-powered submarines and 8 warships into the Caribbean Sea? When did CARICOM know that America was sending 10 fighter jets, F-35s, into the Caribbean? When did CARICOM know that France had joined America in this armada that is now descending on the Caribbean, that has descended on the Caribbean? On combating drug and arms trafficking, issues which Barbados says are critical to countries like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados says there is still unease because such a deployment challenges the Caribbean's historically maintained status as a zone of peace. Historically. I remind you that the headquarters of the United Nations Seabed Authority, the Seabed Authority, is headquartered in Jamaica. Have we heard anything from the United Nations and the Seabed Authority, which is headquartered? A very interesting thing happening, CARICOM is headquartered in Jamaica for this session of CARICOM. And the Seabed Authority is headquartered in Jamaica, has been for the longest while. I don't know, but Marco Rubio says Jamaica is a country that is most aligned with United States policies. He came to Jamaica and he said that. However, they underscore in the letter the importance of collaboration and communication to ensure such operations don't unintentionally escalate geopolitical tensions. You think? We all know that this is not about it's not even about Venezuela. Yes, they want regime change in Venezuela, but I tell you, please to go on YouTube when this program is finished. Go to YouTube, Google China's 80th anniversary military parade, and watch it. And we have done many programs, hundreds of discussions over the last few years about China's incursion, China in Africa, China in the Caribbean, China in Jamaica, China in every country barring none. We have had these discussions and we warned of all of this. So, yes, they're using Venezuela. Oh, okay. So Venezuela is there. But remember that Venezuela is China's biggest trading partner in the region. I might be a little bit off. I don't think so. China has invested billions with a B in Venezuela. Venezuela supplies China's oil. China has what I call a cable where you run under the sea. Forget communication again. Those cables that, those underwater cables. and I don't know what else, but China has that. China's got a whole lot of investment in the Caribbean, more than almost any other country. I think the only rival right now would be the United States, and I think they've outrivaled them long time. Let me take a break. We're facing a moment of inflection. We're facing a moment where change is going to happen one way or the other, even if America moves all of its ships out of the Caribbean water as I speak, and pull all of the airplanes, and France move out of ship. Because what this is for us is a warning from the United States that military might will speak and is going to speak if you go against what we are telling you to do. So what you can look forward to is the decisions that your governments in the Caribbean are about to make. The decisions that the Jamaica is about to make, that Barbados, that Trinidad has already gone off. Trinidad jumped off of this cliff long time. So it will be great to look to see what Trinidad is doing. And we need to go now to look at the silence. Who is speaking and who is silent and what they've said. But before I do that, CARICOM in the letter to Washington, the letter that they've drafted, I cannot say that it was sent. Okay? They have also talked about CARICOM members openly supporting U.S. military deployment that include Trinidad and Tobago and so on. And the Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister, Sean Sobers, emphasized that Trinidad and Tobago faces disproportionately high levels of crime and views U.S. intervention as a necessary asset in tackling transnational criminal threats. Now, how many weeks and months have I spent in this program with Dr. Darius Figueroa talking about transnational crime? And he's somebody who is well placed to discuss that. And what did he say to us? He says that from all of his research, and he's just released 2 more books, by the way, so look him up. There are 2 more books out there that you can buy online that's dealing specifically with Jamaica and Trinidad, and I think possible Belize. Haven't got my copies yet. But so he said to us that the methodology has changed. And so that where it used to be this traveling by boat, transporting big cocaine and so on, that whole thing has changed. And he talked about Pax Mexicana and the borders that are being used. And that is why it's not just, this is an interesting thing, because what they're saying no longer exists. And he talked about Tren de Agua. Tren de Agua doesn't exist in Venezuela. It is a Colombian narcotics drug, situation. But the name is a name that Donald Trump and those in the US have already identified and put the tag of terrorists on. And once they say you are a terrorist, then they can kill you regardless of which water you're in. So what if Tren de Agua and Jamaica being such a but what if, can you just imagine if, let us say Venezuela or Colombia or, Tren de Agua, you say that they're in Ocho Rios, they're in Ocho Rios waters. Then what? What is the plan? Because we know how the waters of Jamaica are being used for not drug trafficking, but weapons, gun trafficking. So you're just going to blow them up in Jamaican waters? What if they land on Ochi Beach and you see them from up there because you're watching everything? What is the plan? Because if you can blow them up where you blow up the last one, then you can blow them up anywhere. And there is no apology or regret or remorse. It is beating of a chest and punching of the fist. They have changed the name of the Department of Defense in the United States to the Department of War. All the while they're seeking a Nobel Peace Prize. And Jamaica and the rest of CARICOM foreign ministers are saying the Caribbean waters, known as a zone of peace, and you have now peopled it with warships, nuclear-powered submarines, warplanes from both France and the United States. Ability. The Caribbean, they say, remains committed to its peaceful identity. But at the same time, they're balancing that. They're saying, but it faces severe challenges from drugs and gun trafficking. And so Kamala is saying, well, yeah, bomb them, kill them. That's what Kamala is saying. Besesa in Trinidad. She's quoted in Trinidad papers, Trinidad radio and Caribbean radio and papers as saying, kill them all. Kill them all. Later, right? So she's very supportive, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Besesa. She strongly endorsed the U.S. deployment. She says these are terrorist drug cartels and law-abiding citizens don't have nothing for fear. And if you don't fear nothing and you're law-abiding, shut your mouth because we must kill them all. That's Kamala. Face him, I'll quote exactly what she said. Each member state can speak for themselves. As for us, kill them all. In the U.S. buildup individually. Antigua, as a matter of fact, and Barbuda, they have come out to say this is a new demonstration of imperial force. This is the kind of pushback that we want. Dominica is also opposed, and they have said that they are aligned with Antigua on this. They have condemned the deployment, and they have raised concern about its implications for regional sovereignty. So that we're hearing from Dominica, we're hearing from Antigua and Barbuda. Remember, as individual nations, now not as CARICOM. And St. Kitts and Nevis also opposed. They have expressed disapproval of the U.S. military buildup, and they have also underscored the fact that with this, they're seeing more wider regional anxiety about this level of interference. St. Lucia is also opposed. St. Lucia has voiced its opposition to the U.S. actions. And this, you notice mainly Eastern Caribbean countries. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're also opposed to this. And they have also condemned the U.S. military activity in the Caribbean waters. They say it is potentially destabilizing. And let me see. That must be it, because Jamaica, well, Guyana is supportive. We said that before. Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, cautious and consultative. Antigua is opposed. Dominica opposed. St. Kitts opposed. St. Lucia opposed. Jamaica, the Bahamas, Suriname, Haiti, Belize, and others have not publicly stated where they stand. So we do not know what Jamaica is waiting for. We can say that we just went through an election and everybody's attention. But if this is how we're going to be, that we can run an election and see a military build-up on our doorstep and don't pay no mind to it, we turn our back on it, then it means that we are not fit to run no country, no election, and be in no position of power. Because, of course, you can walk and chew gum. This is what Jamaica and countries like the Bahamas and Suriname and so on, I don't know. But Jamaica has to say something today. Today? Jamaica needs to say something today. Through CARICOM. Say something through CARICOM. Because you say Parliament disbanded and all of that. So who are running things? By the way, how the Governor General feel about all of this? Anyway, that's a whole other story. So once again, just to say that the United States has deployed a substantial naval force into the Caribbean, 7 or 8 warships, nuclear-powered submarines. And I didn't even mention this morning, I told you last week, 4,500 personnel. And the scale of this buildup tells us a lot. It's not just pressure on Maduro. It is facing China. And so I want to go after the break to look at China's response, Russia's response, but also to look at this Politico article, because we're getting news from Politico this morning, an exclusive story to them, so it is breaking news from them about this military buildup. So let me take a break and come back.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional
Waters. And remember, it's close to Venezuela, and Venezuela just put up 2 fighter jets and fly them over their own airspace. And America has responded to Venezuela. America has said to Venezuela, this is provocation. You are provoking us to bomb you. This is provocation. Now, America left all the way from which part them come into the Caribbean waters, park them military submarines, nuclear-powered submarines, weapons, fighter jet on Venezuela's doorstep. Killed 11 people who they said were coming from Venezuela. And Venezuela, who the land can't move, this is where they are, this is where they belong, this is where they have been forever, with the biggest, largest oil reserves in the entire world, put up 2 of them fighter jets. And America says, this is provocation. So what do you call it? Monroe Doctrine aside, what do you call it? What do you call what you have done? Who you provoking? Or when you do, this is the most narcissistic, psychopathic, Machiavellian piece of geopolitical BS that I've ever seen. And yeah, there you go. And the title is editorial, Reject Trump's Approach. Reject Trump's Approach. Now, for our students in the class, for us who study journalism long time, we don't know if it changed, but this is how it goes. When the newspaper writes in the editorial section, whatever comes out as editorial, this is the policy, the opinion, the feeling of the entire ownership of the newspaper. That's what we learned in journalism. So we're taking, this is how the Gleaner really feel. These are them policy doesn't feel, this is, and they feel strongly about it. Anyway, so I'm going to read a bit of it for those who haven't bought the paper yet or haven't gone online. It says, hopefully, no other Caribbean leader will follow Kamala Persad-Besesa's embarrassing and highly spirited cheering on the United States for its extrajudicial killing last week of 11 alleged drug traffickers in international waters near Venezuela. Now, the only thing we have a problem with the Gleaner writer, so you should have said Caribbean waters and bring it right home. Bring it right home. Anyway, they go on. Their boat was simply blown up, either by a drone or missile believed to have been fired from one of the U.S. Navy destroyers President Donald Trump dispatched to the Southern Caribbean, in his supposed war on narco traffickers. Many people, however, fear that America's real purpose is to set the stage for military intervention in Venezuela to overthrow Nicolas Maduro. And then they go on to say, despite Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister's declaration that the U.S. military should kill them all violently. I even did left off that because she said, kill them all violently. That's her exact quote, you know. So the Gleaner is saying, the editorial, despite Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister's declaration that the U.S. military should kill them all violently, referring to drug smugglers, Miss Passard Besesa's Jamaican counterpart, Andrew Holness, should clarify that the US-style action wasn't what he had in mind in statement earlier this year that criminal gangs and their activities should be treated as terrorism. Remember me to tell you, when Andrew Holness came out and said the criminal gangs are terrorists, and him look one side and look the other side and use the word terrorism again, that there was something to it. Because once you declare terrorism as a nation, this is a new way, you have the right to kill any of them without any kind of considerations for law, order, or no human rights. So, the Gleaner is right to say that within the context of a member of CARICOM, Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Passard Besesa, saying the US military should kill them all violently, that Andrew Holness should clarify that the US-style action wasn't what he had in mind earlier this year, that criminal gangs and their activities should be treated as terrorism. Washington said were members of a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Agua, may appear to burnish a leader's tough on crime credentials. It undermines the rule of law, weakens democratic governance, and is a threat to anyone, everywhere, including potentially innocent Jamaicans who may be sailing the high seas. That's what I was saying. Or the victim could be someone walking and driving along Knutsford Boulevard in the Jamaican capital, targeted with a precision strike because the Americans declared the person to be a narco trafficker. You understand? Besesa continues to demur, make clear their disagreement with how the United States has chosen to prosecute its war on drugs in our backyard. Well as warn Washington against a Bay of Tonkin-style incident as justification for a U.S. assault on Venezuela that would destabilize the Caribbean. It is what they've said here, right? So read that. Would have failed. Journalism would be a threat to the very democracy that you're trying to preserve here after an election, which you said showed how the democratic process works. If you leave this alone and do not challenge governments, because they're going to make a decision and they're going to do what Kamala Besesa did, unless we say to them right now, not on our watch and not in our name. Remember, this is the war. This is a Cold War that they have taken. It's a geopolitical war, a Cold War that they have taken from the South China Seas and other places and park it in the Caribbean waters. All right. In waters. A spokesperson for China's foreign ministry, Mao Ning, stated that Beijing opposes any move that violates the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter and a nation's sovereignty. And it adds that China rejects interference of external forces in Venezuela's internal affairs under any pretext. You listen to that closely. This is China. This is China at its loudest. You've never heard China talk this way. Remember, we've been covering China for a long time in this space. Them not talk, so you hold on, let me take a break. You've heard the conversations we had with resource persons, experts, technocrats, and so on, regarding Venezuela's claim on Essequibo And all of this because of oil. And you know that we stood firmly with Guyana, and we lambasted Venezuela from here to outside, right? And was reading all the tweets, having all the discussions, all the conversations, all the interviews, and my point was well made in terms of the fact that Guyana would not give up a blade of grass, and if them cross, we kick them in the you-know-what. So that's basically where we went with that. But we can talk about our business in the Caribbean region, and we can be fair to each other. But when one person in Caribbean waters is threatened, then all of us are threatened. And because we know this is not just about Venezuela, we know that this is about three things. It's Russia, it's China, and yes, it is Venezuela, so 3.5, and Guyana. So here we go. Listen quickly. The ships that U.S. deployed, 8 warships and 1 submarine to the Eastern Caribbean, nuclear-powered submarine. The USS Gravely, the USS Jason Dunham, USS Samson, USS Iwo Jima, USS San Antonio, USS Fort Lauderdale, USS Lake Erie, USS Minneapolis St. Paul, USS Newport News. So maybe when you hear the names of the ships and the 1 nuclear-powered submarine, you'll see how serious. These are sitting in Caribbean waters. And I don't have no name for the F-35s, but we know they are F-35s. I know elsewhere I said F-16s, because that's what I heard first, but everything else is saying F-35s. I don't even know, you did have one F-35 or F-16. I don't pay attention to warplane them ways there. So once again, when you get a chance, please go to YouTube and watch. Please spend some time and watch it. It's not very long. Watch it from beginning to end. China's celebration of its 80th anniversary with its military parade. China's military parade 2025. Because while that was going on, Donald Trump got so scared that he went on Truth Social and he posted, hello to congratulations to China on your 80th anniversary of the defeat of China, the Japanese invaders, and say hello to Vladimir Putin and King Jong-un, and which all three of you are there plotting against me. That's basically what he posted on Truth Social. That all 3 of them, they are plotting against him. So, and China has also urged the U.S. to take steps in conducive that is to peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean. And Russia, though, hasn't said anything, no official statement yet. But you will recall that Russia has already made a strategic military presence in the Caribbean, because just a few months ago, Russia demonstrated its capability and intent to project military power in the Caribbean. It deployed warships, including the Admiral Gorshkov frigate and the Kazan nuclear-powered submarine armed with hypersonic missiles for drills and visits to Cuba and Venezuela in those waters. And at the time, Moscow emphasized that these actions were demonstrations of its global reach rather than threats. We had a lot of discussion about that too, like where Russia go. And so that happened, military exercises in Caribbean waters. We saw that just recently. At the time, we were saying it was a symbolic counterbalance because of what was happening between the European Union, Russia, America, and the whole Ukraine situation. Russia was asserting its influence near the United States. Now, the political article, boy, I've got so much to say. But anyway, the political article prioritizes homeland over China. And basically they're saying that there are key shifts in the U.S. focus from global rivalry to domestic defense. And they're saying that they have seen, Politico says that it has seen a draft of this that has been sent to the minister, what is it again, Andrew? It's just with the ministry, it's just with the defense, Department of Defense, not Department of War, right? So they're saying the draft places heightened importance on domestic and regional missions, a pivot away from the previous central aim of deterring China's growing influence. And they're saying this overturns past strategies, including the 2018 National Defense Strategy under President Trump, which identified China as the primary threat. But now, what we're seeing is an isolationist influence, and Politico is reporting that the rationale aligned with isolationist perspectives championed by Pentagon Policy Chief Colby and Vice President J.D. Vance, both favoring reduced global commitments and a fortress for America. Why is this important to us? Because America's fortress include us. It include we. So for law enforcement. So law enforcement is losing its power. They're militarizing everything in the United States. And this is according to Politico, right? And then they have now referenced the Pentagon deploying warships and F-35 fighter jets to the Caribbean for what they're calling anti-drug operations. And they also reference a recent military strike, which reportedly killed 80 alleged members of the Venezuela, well, it's Colombian, but they keep saying Venezuelan, Tren de Aragua gang in international waters, which is the Caribbean waters. And so this blurs the line between military and law enforcement roles. Now, there's a deeper concern. There is a deeper concern on all of this. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm kind of just going through the article and why this is important for us, and why, when we say this includes China and Russia, this alone tells us, the Political article alone tells us that the Caribbean is now being treated as an extension of the U.S. Homeland Defense Zone. It's not just now, because the CBSI and all of them was about that. The militarization of the Caribbean waters was always happening. Southcom was always a problem, in the same way that AFRICOM is a problem on the continent of Africa. But now they've ramped it up a bit. Not a bit, a whole lot. So instead of primarily viewing China and Russia as external adversaries, the Pentagon is repositioning to secure what it calls the near abroad, which is the Western Hemisphere. And by framing the drug cartels, the transnational gangs, Venezuela-linked groups, etc., as security threats, they now have a justification for their large-scale military presence against China and Russia in Caribbean waters. And so reparations activists and principals from CARICOM, from the Caribbean, from Latin America, from the continental Africa, the United States, and so on, they're all in Ethiopia, Africa Union meeting there. Lots of them are presenting this morning. Well, they would have already, because Ethiopia is like many hours ahead. Listen, some journalists, because they're not going to answer me on this, and I've tried using Access to Information Act. I've been using this forever and ever, amen, but I hardly get no response. But I think, some journalists should ask about how much money, CARICOM get from the Afri-Exim Bank. Is it a loan, a aid, or whatever it is? And why now that as Jamaica get it? And is it going to be used? Them get. Okay, let me play the music. But the question needs to be asked about that money from the Afri-Exim Bank that's gone to CARICOM. So today's Africa CARICOM Day. We can follow the news. I haven't spent a lot of time on it, but I know that for me, I endorsed it. I was there online for the launch of it. I was there online for the second one, and I'm sorry I missed the third one yesterday, into today. But I'll go catch up and then come back and talk to you about it next week. I know Professor Vereen Shepherd is there, so hopefully when she comes back, she'll give us a summary, as she's wont to do, about what happened there and what's coming out. Because this whole conversation, the big theme this year is about reparations, right? I've looked to see if there are any comments or documents or, any question asked about what's happening in CARICOM waters. I haven't seen anything. If you have, please send it to me. But I have been going to and fro, searching for that coming out of the Africa Union on Africa CARICOM Day. But I haven't seen anything. I want to say just quickly to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, to Foreign Minister, because even though I know the Parliament is dissolved and so on, it is what it is. So things are still in place until we put back the Parliament. But I just want to say to government and to the opposition that this is a matter of critical importance, and your ignoring of it is dangerous. So let us know what's happening from your end, what Jamaica is doing and saying about this, and what CARICOM has to say about this, in spite of and despite Kamala Prasad Bisesa. What Kamala is doing is very interesting, and we have to watch her to see what happens next, right? Because we had Idi Amin, and Patrice Lumumba was killed, and Amilcar Cabral, and Steve Biko. We refuse to be your puppet. Our spirit are different spirit from where you would used to. Feel spirit now take no chat around here. No chat. We got some rebellious spirit. And we'll see through to the end. So let us know what's happening, eh? The Big A is up next with the Sunday Sunshine in just about 5 minutes' time. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. And remember to be kind. Back to school, we know you're out for back to school. It's going to be, the full cohort almost going in on Monday. So take it easy on the road. I hope the school buses are working. As I said before, I had no problem with the school buses. I do hope they work. Listen, pray over your children before them leave. Libation over your children before them leave. Because so much negative energy is out there around and surrounding the transportation for our children, that I want to caution us that we have to stop it, because words are alive, and you can use words, and your words can create monsters. But when it comes to our children, let us tone down, let us stop it, and wish the drivers of those buses who are going to take our children to school and the children who are going to be using these buses, God's richest blessing, guidance and protection. Mother, Father, God, watch over them as them go out to school Monday morning, tomorrow morning. Protect them on the road. Protect them from pedophiles. Protect them from rapists. Protect them from drunk and reckless, narcissistic drivers. Just protect them on the road. Let us pray for our children and stop the negative energy about how them getting to school. You see, because we're going to create a thing that we cannot pull back. Remember, in the beginning was a word, and the word was made flesh, right, Big A? And the word became flesh and was made flesh. Why am I saying it is this, that words are alive. This thing about stick and stone, and it's foolishness, It is words that you use to create. First come thought, then word, then action. And you can speak yourself into whatever you become and whatever you are becoming. That's why we say sometimes shift your paradigm, go up on a different frequency, and speak truth and positivity into the spaces that you enter. So how are you doing, Mr. Big A? A pure positive way of speech today. So you were right. The most popular song won. The long way. May I be a friend. The most popular. You said the most popular song would win.
Whoever keep the biggest dance.
Whoever keep the biggest dance. Let me ask, this is what he said? Did he say whoever keep the biggest dance or whoever most popular song? Anyway, so we're gonna fix it a little bit. Whoever kept the biggest dance, and then win. So anyway, we're gonna leave it here with Mr. Big A going through until 2 o'clock, mate. And it's out for me. First, I give it to him quick, you know, because I'm tired, I talk from morning. So I spoke. Me not cussing anybody. You know, see the whole ship them went in Jamaican water. U.S. Gravely, U.S. Jason Dunham, U.S. Samson, U.S. SS Iwo Jima.
What am I doing?
Well, that is a question. This is wars, nuclear-powered submarines, etc. That's what I've been talking about. Military assets, military strikes. That's what I'm talking about, again. Manners and tanks. What your t-shirt say? Manners and what? What a t-shirt that's way out here. Oh, okay. I don't know what the last one is.
No, it says manners and honors. You know,
manners and honors.
You know, that's my slogan, right?
Yeah. So where you get the t-shirt?
Eh?
So who give you the t-shirt?
I got my daughter.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Love the color too. So this is how we're saying goodbye. Because you know me and Big A with Tanya and Chat for no particular reason. And we'll see you next week. All right?
One Uptown TV. Yo, enough there, me I represent. Bang.